Next up, we're going to hear from DAS Technology, and they have an important question. The question is, people or AI? But the good thing is there's no need to choose because the future is hybrid. So do me a favor and help me welcome up Cliff Banks and Scott Pechstein.
He goes by anything. You can call him anything.
Go by both.
Thanks, man. Scott, good to see you.
Cliff, we made it.
Yeah, you made it. How many NADAs for you now?
This is my 23rd. Right back at you. How many?
26.
All right, we're gonna start
My hair's
losing
a little
count.
grayer than yours,
Yeah.
so it's showing. All right. So what are we going to talk about today?
We're talking about a buzzword. So the
Yeah.
buzzword for 2025, AI. You know, some of the buzzwords that went back a couple years. What was it? We've been at this for a while.
Couple years.
Transparency.
Yeah, transparency.
Big data.
CDP.
Digital retailing.
Remember? You guys remember digital retailing?
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah. I think we're still waiting for them to come, right? Anyway, so, all right, moving forward. Bad joke, guys. Moving forward.
The clicker.
AI. Oh, yeah, let me give you the clicker. If you let me have the clicker, it will be a disaster. So as we talk about the future and AI, a lot of conversation around AI replacing humans, or dealers turning over a lot of their operations to AI agents or AI-related software. What's your perspective, Scott? How do you see this?
So the question is, do you hand over the keys of the castle to AI? And the answer is yes, but no, right? So you still need your human capital more than ever. It's a relationship business. People that are buying a $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 vehicle, 95% of them are going to do so through a relationship, through a handshake. But it's both, right? If you're not embracing the technology, your competition is, and it's getting them to the consumer a lot quicker. So let me just take a step back and let's define AI, because it's pretty loosely defined, right? So AI's been around for decades. AI really is any programmatic algorithm is AI. What I think what they think when they think AI, they think machine learning, right? The generative search like they see on Google right now. So to answer your question, it's both, Cliff. It reminds me a little bit of digital retailing, right? Digital retailing was a buzzword a couple years ago. It still is to some extent. And the old saying, if you build it, they will come. And the people up on this same stage, they were correct. There's tens of thousands of vehicles that were sold via digital retailing. Cliff, you're the industry expert. Today, what percent of cars are sold through digital retailing versus the traditional means?
Depends who you talk to, but it's really 3 to 5%.
3 to 5%.
Yeah,
if I were to argue with you and tell you you're wrong, it's 6 or maybe it's 2.
True.
95% of cars and trucks are still sold the traditional way. The same thing with AI, ladies and gentlemen. Don't give up the keys to the castle just yet. You still need your manpower. You still need your personnel.
So why can't we move forward with all AI? I mean, why is it hybrid right now?
It's dangerous. It's dangerous. So when you and I, a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
To some extent, it's a little bit scary. When we found out we were going to be speaking, we're on the phone, and we did a generative search on Google, right? I think you used ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And what did we Google? We asked who was going to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
So I live in Southern California. Cliff lives in Detroit. We did the search at the exact same time from 2 different geos. I got a three-peat for the KC Chiefs. Who'd you get?
Lions.
Ladies and gentlemen, we did the same search from 2 different IP addresses, and AI gave us 2 different results. Now, as of this morning, AI's got Philly taking the Chiefs by 1 point. I don't know how much money I'd put behind that, but it gets a little bit scary. You had a conference a couple weeks ago where there was a horror story up on stage.
Yeah, we talked a lot about AI and just some of the horror stories with relying solely on the generative or large language models to engage with your customers. And some of the stories we hear are just, if they weren't so bad, it would be comical. But I think the point, to your point, is that we really can't give the keys to the
don't hand over the keys of the castle just yet, but embrace it. Embrace it.
So let's talk about some specific use cases. You guys, DAS, are leveraging AI in specific areas. But how can dealers, let's talk about reputation management first. Let's talk about ways dealers can leverage or should leverage AI in reputation management.
Sure. So reputation management's been one of our core competency dating back 12, 13 years now. Candidly speaking, we rely on AI on our responses. Now, hold on. The robots aren't controlling the conversations. They're not responding at 2 in the morning. If I don't have somebody live at 2 in the morning, they respond. We're waiting till 7 o'clock till the doors open. Having said that, again, candidly, we are running every single answer through AI, right? AI is like a built-in thesaurus. It makes us sound smarter, it makes us sound smoother. So they will reference, our agents will reference that AI, but still a human being is typing in the answer. And I'm sure a lot of our kids are doing it on their book reports, and
Oh, sure.
I'm sure we've done it maybe on some job interviews or what have you when you're interviewing or you want to sound crisp and you want to be smart. But it does a few things, right? One, it gets rid of errors, right? There's no malapropisms when we're typing through AI. Two, it allows us to answer a lot more quickly. Our OEMs are happy with that. So it helps us scale. So we utilize AI to help scale, but again, we've resisted the urge to replace our people with AI. We're not there today, and quite frankly, it's going to be a while before we go that far.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it. I mean, look, there's a lot of experimentation, a lot of pushing the edge, maybe pushing the envelope a little bit with some companies and players. But I think having that rational, on the feet on the ground, keeping your head out of the cloud, so to speak, approach, I reinforces your point of staying with hybrid. What about lead response?
So lead response, for over a decade, we've been harnessing AI. We've got a programmatic algorithm for years that helped our clients respond back to leads as soon as they come in within 4 to 5 minutes. The OEMs are really happy with the 4 to 5 minute response time. So AI allows us to do that. And then what we also do is we don't take the actual request, the vehicle requested, too serious. And what I mean by that is any given Sunday, 10 people come in to buy a new Silverado. 4 or 5 of them may end up burning gas in a Colorado or a slightly used car. And we're okay with that stat. We're excited about that stat. A lot of times dealers don't take that into consideration when a lead hits the CRM. So our AI not only responds with a price, with a payment, it also responds with alternative vehicles and pre-owned vehicles. So that's an example where we've embraced AI for our lead response product for over 10 years running. We're always enhancing it, and again, you're beating your competition to the punch, and you're winning the trust. So
Right.
AI, the analogy I like to use, it softens the beachhead to get to the relationship first. Doesn't sell the car for you. In some rare cases, 3, 4, 5% of the time, maybe it does, and they come in from all the information they got, and I'm ready to buy. But there's always questions.
Sure.
If I'm a doctor and I went through a divorce and maybe there was a BK within 10 years, good luck that doctor asking the AI, do I qualify for the 0.9%? You might get a scary answer.
Right. Let's talk about chat. And because this is where a lot of this battle, or not battle, but all the activity seems to be going is on chat and creating agents or AI software that can have legitimate conversations with human beings.
So this is a good example. We've had AI chat as a service for many, many years.
Yeah.
Ironically, or not ironic, we recently just had our 10th acquisition in 10 years, and we bought a chat company with real life chat agents. So what did we decide to do? We didn't lean one way or another. We combined the two. So it's kind of like, the analogy I like to use is when you're on the phone with Delta, right, or American. Delta or American in the phone tree can get you a lot of what you need. You can change your flight, cancel your flight, rebook your flight, what have you. But there's that point in time, happens to me maybe once a quarter, where I've got to hit zero. I've got to talk to somebody. I'm not getting what I need.
Right.
So we took that exact same concept, applied towards websites. At 10 o'clock at night, you don't need an agent to serve up inventory, right? Or do a soft pull on the chat. So our AI chat serves up inventory, gives directions. But if somebody specifically, let's go back to the doctor with the BK and the divorce, has a question if he or she qualifies for the 0.9%, the AI chat bot's going to put their hands up.
Right. I would say, too, one of the key points for me as a customer, if I'm engaging with a chat bot online, I want to know that it's a chat bot right from the word go.
That's a good point.
Because I want to know what I'm dealing with. And I think you can always tell the companies that try to hide that fact from the customer and try to disguise it as a real human being. But at some point, that chatbot is going to fail, or
So
chat agent, whatever we want to call it, is going to fail in that conversation. And
That's a point of contention right now.
Yes.
So there's a lot of AI solutions. Be careful. There's a lot of them. But if they're trying to come off as a real person, the customer's going to start digressing and doing one thing and one thing only, trying to trick the bot. So now instead of buying, leasing, servicing a vehicle, they're sitting there trying to trick the bot to prove that it's not a real person. And then where are you with the trust? Where are you?
Certainly.
You never have a second chance to make a first
And it's
impression.
about managing the expectation too.
Yep.
I mean, right up front, hey, I'm Cliff. I'm your friendly chat bot from ABC Motors. How can I help you? Well, so from the word go, I know what I'm dealing with, and that I can probably X out of that conversation into a real life person at any time. So, all right, interesting. All right, another thing that you guys kind of coined back in the day, another buzzword here, but CDP.
Yeah.
We're going back a few years, but all right. So let's talk about CDP and how AI or how you guys are.
What does it even mean? All these acronyms. Another acronym. We need another acronym like a hole in our head.
Data platform, I think.
Consumer data platform. If there's an X, it's a consumer data experience platform, which is what we have. In layman's terms, everybody, that's making the most out of your data, right? Making sure that you are communicating to the different types of consumers that are in your database, whether it be fixed ops oriented, variable ops oriented. Is it somebody ready to buy? And again, AI in this examples helps soften the beachhead, right? It helps move folks down that funnel. So dare I say, to allow your folks to better cherry pick, right? Any given Monday morning, you come into the dealership, the internet team has 80 leads overnight. Okay, so do we treat them all the same? No. The AI can dictate, okay, 10 of them were online this morning, 8 of them are online right now. Start with those 18. And then over the weekend, right, the AI will log who raised their hand, this, that, and the other. So the CDXP solution is interesting. At the end of the day, you still need that human capital to take the TO, right? To take the handoff when to pick the low-hanging fruit that the AI determines. But there's examples right now with CDP. Heck, we just rolled it out a couple weeks ago where there are videos, AI videos specifically to Cliff. So maybe it's for service decline. Maybe you got your brakes done, but you didn't do your rotors. By the time you're home or in a text and email cadence days later, you're getting AI notifications. Hey, Cliff, you did your brakes, but you didn't do your rotors. You could really only resurface your rotors effectively once before they eat through your new brake pads. By the way, Cliff, also in your 2021 Silverado, you didn't change the cabin filter, which we suggested on your last 2 visits right now.
Right.
And then we show a picture of a dirty cabin filter, a clean cabin filter, and we pose the question, what kind of air do you want your family breathing on the next trip? So what's cool with AI, it's very, very specific. In that example, it could call Cliff out by name. It's a video with a voiceover, and not only for decline codes, but what's really cool is for recalls as well. Right, recalls is obviously a big moneymaker. We like recalls as Tier 3 dealers. It could call out your Silverado that it may have a defective airbag at absolutely no cost to you. Cliff, let's make an appointment.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the future. I mean, we're talking about the present right now, but where do you see this playing? I mean, and you've been coming in NADA 23 years now.
Done a couple.
Yeah, and you've been on the cutting edge with some cutting edge companies over the years. Where are we today with this technology?
I think I'll answer that question with a story. So we've both been to Phoenix a few times, right? Back and forth. Yeah. You've done the autonomous, what do they call them, the Waymos?
I do Waymo all the time.
Waymo,
I'm
right?
In Phoenix, yeah.
So you've all heard the horror stories. First of all, I like Waymo because when it takes me 20, 25 minutes to get to the airport because the Uber is so backed up, there's always a Waymo available.
Yes.
Right, the Waymos are the autonomous driving cars that drive around Scottsdale and downtown Phoenix.
And so San Francisco and...
what's that?
In San Francisco and Los Angeles.
Los Angeles has them. San Fran has them. The big cities are starting to get them as well.
Right.
So if anybody hasn't done it, it's a pretty cool experience. A little scary at first, but let's talk about some of the horror stories, right? Some of the, I don't know. We've all heard about the Waymo that got stuck in the traffic circle that kept going around and around and around with the family in the back. When there's an accident, Waymo hasn't exactly figured out what to do when there's a car pileup and you've got Waymos driving through the accident scene. So I tell that story to say, I personally like Waymo. It's efficient. Yeah. It gets me to the airport when an Uber there's a 20, 25 minute wait, but still 95, 96, 97% of the ride shares on the road are not Waymos.
Well, no, all right, hang on. Little fact for you that's this week. I saw in San Francisco, Waymo rides for the first time exceeded Lyft rides.
In San
ride
Fran.
hailing in San Francisco. Yes.
So the machines have taken over in San
They're
Francisco.
starting to, yes. And I'm a little different than you. I don't use Waymo as a backup. I use Uber as my backup when I'm in Phoenix. So
you're embracing the AI.
yes.
Again, you've got to be careful. You can't hand over the keys across the nation, right?
Right.
Waymo's running out of electricity in Montana or what have you. But let me throw it right back at you, Cliff. So we've got Vegas next year. I think they're pushing back a little bit, so we're getting out of the snow. And then we've got Orlando in 2 years. So hypothetically, if you and I are on stage having the same discussion 2 years from now, where are we at?
I think it's a safe bet to say that the buzzword next year in Vegas will be AI agents or agentic AI. We're starting to see a little bit of that here already. A couple companies have been talking about that on the show floor and made some announcements. A lot of advancements in the technology. Listen, the robots are not taking over. I agree 100%. It will be very, I think, from my perspective, very exciting to watch over the next 2 years to see where we are with the technology. I think it's going to spur an era of innovation in our industry. We mentioned earlier, there's going to be companies pushing the edge. And I think as dealers, you have to be careful because you are dealing with customers, you're dealing with regulatory issues. So you have the data, you have the conversations with customers that you have to be very careful to who you're turning your data over to or your operations to. So probably, having that rational, measured approach to AI, leveraging the hybrid approach is probably the way to go.
Yeah, in closing, right, AI is going to help you be more efficient, more effective, and it's a race to the relationship, and it's going to knock down the boundaries to get to the relationship first. At that point, again, your human capital has to make that connection. Win the trust, get the consumer into the dealership, whether it be for sales or service.
Right. Fascinating. Well, we'll see where we are in a couple of years.
Good seeing you, Cliff.
Thank you, Scott.
Always a pleasure.
Enjoyed it. Thanks.